Well, today I have the very great pleasure of speaking with Prag Sharma. And Prag is Senior Vice President at Citi Innovation Labs, as well as the Global Head of Citi's AI Centre for Excellence. And today we will chat about technology-fueled innovation. Hi Prag, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
An absolute pleasure to have you, Prag. And first question today for you is, where are you located and what's been keeping you going over the last few months?
I'm actually based very close to UCD. In fact, ever since I moved to Ireland about, say, 25 years ago, I've always been in and around UCD. I did my engineering degree in UCD and I lived nearby. I did my PhD in UCD and I lived nearby. And I even did my MBA through the Michael Smurfit Business School and I lived nearby. And just to top it all off, I even worked in UCD for a few years and lived nearby. So I've always lived in and around UCD and I still spend a lot of my time in UCD. What's kept me going over the last while has been work, which has been extremely busy. Despite working from home, I find myself busier than I was in work because you could grab a coffee or do other things. But now if I have free time, I'm sort of on Zoom calls working away. In my personal life, there's a number of things that have kept me busy, which were a lot of fun. So me and my 11-year-old daughter wrote a book and we self-published on Amazon. It's called The Dressing Gown Adventures. If any of you are really bored, you could go and buy that. I drink a lot of coffee every day, so I collected all my coffee cups and we made a robot out of coffee cups called RoboCup. And I've done lots and lots of other such useless or fun activities in my spare time, which I've really enjoyed. Yeah.
So that sounds great, Prag, and we'll all have to get on Amazon and have a look at you and your daughter's book. How amazing.
Yeah.
So Prag, you are the global head of Citi's AI Centre for Excellence. Can you please tell our audience about this and what makes you so passionate about what you do?
Yeah, now Citibank is a huge global bank. They don't do consumer banking here, but they have a large presence in Ireland for the last at least 30 or 40 years. We have around 230,000 people all over the world, and we do business in around 160 countries. So it's a huge organization. And the AI, or the Artificial Intelligence Center of Excellence, is sort of a one-stop shop for ensuring that Citi approaches innovative technologies like machine learning and artificial intelligence consistently across the organization. It makes sure that they're using these technologies ethically and responsibly, and that they're providing products and services that are based on these technologies to their wide customers in a way that benefits their customers, benefits society, and so on. So that's one of my key jobs in the AI Center of Excellence in Citi, is to ensure that we use technologies, innovative technologies like artificial intelligence, to build new products and services that our clients, individuals, and others use.
Okay, so I'm sure our audience will have a lot of questions around, actually examples around that, I'm sure. But moving on to your title, so technology-fueled innovations. Maybe you can tell us more about this.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been in and around technology, and you could argue that technology has always fueled innovation, right? Think about any of the things we use today. Some of us who have been around for a while might remember, say, the internet in its early days, which I distinctly remember. When I was a kid, there was no internet. And then technology, as used in the broader sense, has really helped us. So the internet is one example. More recently, technology has started coming closer to us, and we're starting to use it more and more. So the internet, you could sit down and use it, but now we have mobile phones that we sort of hold in our hands and we carry everywhere without knowing it. So it's coming closer to us. The internet, the mobile phone, we are living through sort of another innovation that's happening with technology, which is self-driving cars, for example. So a lot of stuff is happening in technology, but the reason I picked the title is a number of different types of technologies are also converging at the same time. Think of cloud computing. That's really making a difference. So startups now can have the same computing power as large organizations, and they can compete directly with us with innovative ideas without having to invest a lot in infrastructure, which was always the case before. IoT, Internet of Things, are little devices we carry, such as mobile phones and millions of other devices that are starting to connect to the internet, another sort of technology-fueled innovation. Then really, blockchain is another sort of technology that's really sort of changing the world and challenging regulators and bankers to think fundamentally different about money that we use every day. And then maybe another technology that cuts across all of these is artificial intelligence, where I'm involved in. Artificial intelligence is promising a lot, and it appears that in some of these promises it will deliver. And when it delivers well, it will make a huge difference to how we do things in everyday life.
Okay, so you've spoken about a lot of innovations there, and I'm sure our audience will have a lot of questions around that. I know I do, but we'll wait till that part. But my last question for you is interdisciplinarity. So in UCD Discovery, we are incredibly passionate about interdisciplinarity, but I'm just wondering, is that important to your work?
Yes, absolutely. I think there's been a realization that you need multiple different skill sets to build something really innovative or to build something that lasts. So as an example from our times, if you think of the iPhone or if you think of the mobile phone, it's a piece of technology that has required numerous different skill sets to come together to build it. Specifically, say, design or design thinking, how anybody uses a product or service has come to the forefront. That wasn't always the case. We take it for granted now, but if you think about it, before, large organizations would build products and services and you had no choice but to just use them. But actually now what's beginning to happen is you have to look at who your end audience is. You have to understand what their requirements are. So multidisciplinarity is absolutely needed at every product and service you make. You need designers, you need back-end developers, you need front-end developers, you need AI experts, and you need other technologists and other skill sets to make a complete product or service happen. So just in Citi, what's good is that we are such a large organization. There's a huge amount of very special expertise available. So if I wanted to talk to somebody about private banking for extremely high net worth individuals, I have experts in that space who know how to develop products there. If I was interested in environmental, social, and governance related activities, how do we finance such projects? We have experts in that space, and we have a focus in that space also. Similar to UCD, I guess, where lots and lots of different experts are present and we have access to those. And to build those products and services, this multidisciplinary approach is essential.
And as I always say, team-based approaches is basically what you're describing there. I think is, you can bring the right teams of people together with the right expertise. So we have a good lot of questions coming in. Here's one for you. A PricewaterhouseCoopers survey published recently found that 40% of Irish workers believe that their jobs will be obsolete within 5 years, mostly because of automation. Are their fears justified?
Yeah,
that's a good one to start with.
Yeah, it's a hard one to start. Thank you for that. Yeah, actually, I think there's a famous quote in this space. I think it's by Bill Gates. We always underestimate what technology is going to do for us in the short term, but in the long term, we always sorry, I'm getting confused. What I was trying to say is basically we over and underestimate what we're trying to do here when it comes to technology. In the short term, we always overestimate what it's going to do for us. So we are overestimating that the jobs are going to go away. I don't think that is going to be the case. And we've always been automating. Every time new technology sort of comes across, we think it is going to take over jobs. But actually, jobs will just shift and form around that. And maybe some people will require new technologies. Maybe some people will not. As a famous example in this space, before we had horse-drawn carriages, and there were horsemen who looked after that. But when the cars came along, maybe you didn't need to have a horse-drawn carriage. You need to learn how to drive. So this is similar, I guess. The jobs are not going away. Yeah. They may change a little. In the short term, we are overestimating. In the long term, this may be the case, but that's the very long term.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But here's a really, really interesting question. So when I was young, it took a few seconds to buy a cinema ticket. The employee tore one or more tickets from a large strip. Now the employee has to do data entry and print each ticket individually, and they need more employees than in the past. How do you avoid this kind of misuse of technology?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes you think, technology is going to automate more, but actually what happens is it sort of doesn't automate as much as you want it to automate, which can be strange. And that ticket example is a good one. So you're saying, I guess it's more personalized, and this is one of the themes of what's happening with technology today. More things are getting personalized to your needs. So now your ticket might have your name on it. That may not have been the case in the past potentially, but now it has your name on it. Once they have inputted that data for you, if you go back again, it can become more seamless. In fact, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Amazon famously came out with a shopping scenario where you just walk into a shop, you pick what you want, you put it in your pocket, it looks like you're stealing stuff, and then you walk out, but actually it's able to charge you because it has that background information on you. So what might appear as more effort once off can now be repeated. And really that's the sort of secret of this technology, this new technology revolution is we will be automating more stuff, but we are going to make it more personalized for you. But for that, you have to share more data. And that's sometimes good and sometimes bad.
Yeah, and Prag, there's a lot of questions coming in around personalization, but maybe move just in the interest of time. Here's a really interesting one. Has the pandemic accelerated technological innovation?
Yes, absolutely. Look at us here. We're all on video. I'm at home, which is great. Working away. It has certainly accelerated innovation in certain areas for sure. Communications is one of them. And one of the big things that it has accelerated, and we can argue about this or we can discuss this some other time, is whether some of these innovations are going to stay or are we going to reverse back to where we started before the pandemic? For example, working from home, is that really going to last the test of time? Don't your bosses want you to be in work so they can keep an eye on you? Is it all talk that you can work from anywhere? Maybe. I think some of it will stay and some of it will not. We might have a hybrid approach, which was never the case before for most people, but it is becoming now. So numerous things will stay.
So a lot of questions coming in for you, Prag, around challenges with machine learning, but a particularly interesting one around machine learning bias, because you did mention that earlier, and the audience picked up on it. So maybe just like to tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, machine learning and bias really is, humans can be very biased ourselves. And what we do is when we build something that can also pick up on our biases. And by that, I mean is when we input data into a machine learning algorithm, that data can be biased. And if we input biased data into an algorithm, a machine learning or AI simply sort of amplifies our own biases in that scenario. So we have to be careful when we use these technologies. Why is data biased? Because data is very one-sided today. If you think about it, the Western world generates a lot more data, and there are some good statistics on this, than say other countries in other parts of the world. It's because we have access to more technology, so we generate more data. If we generate more data, then we have more data to analyze and build models on, then those models will work better for us as opposed to other people in other parts of the world, which is an interesting point to make. So famously, your machine learning algorithms to detect faces are able to detect Caucasian or white faces better than maybe some faces from other races, which is interesting. Why? Because we just happen to have more data to do with these sort of things. So we have to be very careful when we use these technologies. And one of the things is just to be informed. When we as individuals you're using an application, something has been recommended to you through a machine learning algorithm or otherwise, you always have to ask how fair it is, wonder what the underlying data is about, and you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You have your own gut feeling, instincts, what you have learned through life still sort of is there to guide you across this new world of innovation, this new machine learning and AI driven world. So use it.
Yeah, that's a really brilliant answer to that question. And it actually answers a couple of other questions that have come in around ethics, philosophy and law. and how do you make that? So you've pretty much covered a couple of them, but here's a really interesting one, Prag, around, because you mentioned blockchain, energy consumption concerns around blockchain causing an impact in the industry, in your experience.
Yes, actually, I was looking at a stat, I think it was a while ago, that said the blockchain network consumes as much electricity as Ireland. I don't know if that's exactly correct or not, but it was up there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a great idea that this network consumes so much energy, and there needs to be better ways. And in fact, there's lots of other ways to sort of now mine for coins and so on. I think one of our key challenges would be, and this is where technology should help us, is there are some grand challenges we are facing today, and technology has to help with those grand challenges. So what are they? Global warming is one. We have to have technology help us to solve for that, because we find ourselves in this time and place facing this huge challenge. We have to get technology to do that. Biodiversity is another one. Completely decreasing. We are really impacting our environment and other living things. We have to use our technology, artificial intelligence, and other things to make that happen as well. And there's lots of such sort of grand challenges that we can use, and that includes sort of how much energy we use to solve for a particular problem. I think we need to be much more careful, and we need to adopt technologies that help us in that regard.
Prag, we are almost completely out of time, and there's lots of questions around self-driving cars, but here's one to finish, okay? And I'm going to give you 30 seconds really quickly for this. It's a big question, but will machine learning always require human expertise?
Oof.
That's a tough one to finish on. You get 30 seconds.
Not according to Hollywood, it will not, right? As you have seen plenty of movies where machine learning kind of goes up. It's very hard to say never or not. I don't think so. I think that this question closely touches on a lot of other things: philosophy, psychology, consciousness. It might not require humans in the loop if we can make conscious machines, but sure, we don't know why we are conscious or how we are conscious. So we might trip upon that, or we might accidentally discover it. But really, in the short term, like that other sort of phrase I was trying to remember, in the short term, it is not going, we will need humans in the loop, because we really don't understand exactly how these really billion, trillion parameter models work. But in the long term, sure, your guess is as good as mine.
So unfortunately, we are absolutely completely out of time. So sincere apologies to all of you whose questions I didn't get to. Just wanted to let you know that there is a link to Prag and Maya's book in the chat if you'd like to have a look. But I just want to take this opportunity finally to say an absolute huge thanks to Prag. A huge pleasure to have you on today. Most fascinating discussion. Thank you so much, Prag.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And don't forget, you can sign up for our series at zoomforthought.ie, where you can check out our list of upcoming speakers. And thanks so much to everyone and for the questions, and see you all very soon on Zoom for Thought. Thanks a million, Prag. Take care. Bye.
Bye.